There's always fun in store at the Creative Discovery Museum, and we get to spend a few minutes today with their Vice President of Development, Ginger Birnbaum, to learn all about really what's going on through September and October as well. Ginger, thank you for making the time to be here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so glad I get to spend some time here.
So as the Vice President of Development, you oversee a lot of things. You see, I'm sure, the different themes, things that you guys are working on. There's a new exhibit right around the corner. Tell me about XOXO.
Yeah, so this is an exhibit that's opening on September 20th, and it will be at the museum through January 9th. And it's about love and forgiveness. And through the exhibit and the programming that goes with it and the activities that really infuse that theme of the exhibit, it really gives caregivers and children an opportunity to connect.
Yeah.
So they can learn a little bit more about when you hear someone's voice, like what emotion does that invoke? And just in that, like, it shows children and caregivers, what does it really mean, right? When we're speaking to one another, how does that impact another person? How does that feel? And then there are activities within the exhibit too, where let's say you have a hard emotion, a not great memory.
Sure.
They can color or write that down and then put it through a shredder. And then it turns into some beautiful art that we'll display. So just some really cool things that will come along with that, and a great way, again, for people to connect and just learn a little bit more about one another.
Something I love from you guys as well is that you do touch all these different generations. We talked about that a little bit. You had a generation celebration recently to really hone in on that. But talking about, too, this is something that adults can get and that kids can get. You can really learn at any level, and you're meeting people where they are at. So tell me, in addition to XOXO, you had just wrapped up the Mo Williams exhibit that was here through September 7th. What was the turnout like that, like community outreach wise?
Yeah, so people loved that exhibit. I think, that funky pigeon that wants to drive the bus with his one eye in the illustration really calls to a lot of people. Yeah. And so we saw a lot of people at that exhibit just enjoying being there, seeing something familiar like the book in this really broad way through our programming and through the exhibits and even some original illustrations, which was very cool. And then the Chattanooga Public Library even saw an uptick in Mo Williams books being checked out.
Really cool.
Yeah, it's great to see that it really spreads throughout the community and people get involved in these exhibits.
That's so exciting. So in addition to that, just the normal things that are going on throughout the school year, all of our kids are pretty much back in session at this point. Yes. Homeschool groups, everything. Tell me what it looks like for somebody to either get one of y'all to go to their school or like field trips, what they could do with that.
Yeah, so we have permanent exhibits and temporary exhibits that come through. So we have school groups that can book to come in and have a tour of the museum, especially when we do have these kind of new exhibits that are rotating, so they can come in and focus on those. And then we even have kindergarten tours that are supported by Arts Build. They're called Imagine Tours, and that gives Hamilton County kindergartners for free the opportunity to come in, to take a tour, and to get to see different pieces of the museum, which is really cool. And then we have a full outreach team that actually last year, when we looked back at 2024-2025 school year, they went to 5 states and Canada. Now, Canada was virtual, I have to say.
There we go. Okay, yes. That's a long venture, yeah.
That is a long venture, but we really do have that broad impact in the community, in the region, and even Canada. So there's lots of room for people in that story.
Lots of opportunity. As we're kind of wrapping things up, because there's so much going on at the Creative Discovery Museum, we could keep talking. I want to make note of Monster Bash that's going to be here before we know it in October. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so that's October 10th and 11th, and tickets are $15 for members and $22 for general admission. So that is the Monster Bash that people have loved for a long time now, and we're bringing back a lot of that great stuff. S'mores on the plaza, a big bounce house, pumpkin tossing. So a little bit scary because it's Halloween, but mostly just a lot of fun, a lot of opportunity for people to come in costume, do some character greetings with people, and just have a great all-generation Halloween celebration.
And that's something I was going to say too as we're wrapping things up. I was like, kids love to dress up. I know adults love to dress up too. You got some themed, maybe couples costume, family costumes. Yes. There's something for everybody. So remind me again, again, cdmfund.org for the latest information.
That's right.
cdmfund.org. Ginger, thank you for making the time to be here this morning. For the latest details, you can find them online. Learn all about what CDM has going on all throughout the week and annually as well. Discover your next adventure, cdmfund.org. Thanks for joining us here on Let's Chat.
If you have